Yeah.
But the other interesting thing in all of this is the geographic distribution. You alluded to it. And that for us is one of the most important things in our prediction challenges. Can we effectively understand what we call the teleconnections? How does what's happening in the Western Pacific, for example, impact, or in the Arctic, impact what's happening in Iowa? And that's something that's relatively new in terms of the last 20 or 30 years. And I remember this because my first engagement with the insurance community, for example, was about 30 years ago when, and I'm going to really simplify this, and I apologize to your colleagues for my lack of fully understanding risk mitigation in the insurance world. But basically, the understanding or the assumption, as I understood it back then, was if you are making global investments, if you are underwriting globally, you're going to mitigate your risk if you effectively throw a dart at the spinning globe, and that's where you'll make your investments. Because the assumption back then was, well, what happens in Australia can't possibly have any relationship to what's happening in Connecticut.
Yeah.
And what we know now is that that's actually not a safe assumption.
Yeah.
There are teleconnections. And we learned a lot when we started studying El Nino and looked at how that affects everything from the Bordeaux growing season in France to the droughts in South Africa. And now the real challenge for us is, can we work with communities like the insurance community and say, what kind of information do you need for us to be able to tell you that you can decouple your investments if you look in these areas and those areas, or you're compounding your risk if you couple your investment in two other areas. My name is Rick Spinrad, and I am the Undersecretary of Commerce for Oceans and Atmosphere, and also the administrator of the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA. And this is the future of insurance.